River Rapid wheels come 110 millimeters in diameter, 24 millimeters wide. They use your traditional 8 millimeter axle, and they weigh 8.9 ounces each, including the bearings. You can get a pair online for $82 to about $88 before shipping and taxes. My first pair of Rapids were the OG orange ones, and they lasted a solid 11 months, like a little bit over, like a few weeks over. And the only problem with them was one of them ended up dehubbing the one I had in the back, and I'll show you guys closer how that kind of looks. But it still hung on, it didn't fully dehub, so I didn't eat a ton of shit. Before I noticed it was dehubbing, it felt kind of like I had a flat spot in the back, but I couldn't like see it. I couldn't find anything. I rolled it and I put my finger on it, it felt smooth. So if you get the same feeling, it's just slightly dehubbed like that. The front wheel, however, is still perfectly fine, and it's just a solid backup wheel that I have now. My second pair of Rapids were the Matt McKeans, and these guys held up also 11 months, and there's still nothing wrong with them. I just wanted to treat myself and try out some Root Air wheels, but these guys are still fine, and they're definitely going to be probably my next backup wheels, so I've got like 3 now. The urethane on the Rapids feels great. I mean, it's smooth. It doesn't really flat spot. If you land like sketchy, like I'm not doing power slides and stuff, but when you land sketchy, it holds up. And even if it did flat spot a little bit, you kind of just ride it out and it still doesn't even feel that bad. The bearings that they come with are the Flash Floods, and they're pretty good. Like, they roll decent enough. Kind of like any bearing, they get crunchy after a little while, so probably like through over half the use of like the wheel, like 5 months in, 6 months in, you just swap out the bearings and then it feels great again. So that's pretty nice that the wheel will outlast the bearings, because bearings typically kind of suck in scooters. As for the core of the wheels, like the bearing core is probably like the best of any wheel that I've ridden in terms of the bearing slot. It's actually like a perfect tolerance where it's not super crazy to get bearings out or in, and it's not ovalized at all, and you can see it's pretty beefy around the core of the bearing slot right here, and you can see the inside without the bearings, and that's like one of the features that I love the most. When you do have to take out the bearings, if you snap it, break it, whatever, they've got bearing removal slots is what they call them, which are these little grooves right here. Those basically make it super easy to pop your bearing out in case they actually snap and then the outside of the bearing is still stuck in there, and instead of like getting a screwdriver and barely hitting the inside of the bearing race itself, you can just knock it out through those little slots right there. So that's like a super great just quality of life improvement. That's awesome. Overall, they're fast, they're smooth, they hold up pretty damn well. It took 11 months for one of them to die, and it was the back wheel, and you know, no wheel's indestructible, but held up enough for me to not completely eat shit and die. Despite the slight dehubbing that one of them had, I'd say they're still very good wheels that will last you a long time, and they will handle a lot of abuse. So to all you wife beaters out there, pick up a pair of Rapids, give your spouse a break. You'll enjoy them.